Back again for another video. Yeah, I know I've been gone for a while, but I had a few things that I had to take care of, and I needed to get on a better schedule and taking care of these things because I made a few adjustments to my life. So, one of the adjustments being that I quit my job because I don't necessarily need it. I got enough passive income to make things happen. So I had more time, but in that midst of time, my children needed more attention. So I've been focusing more on them and making sure that they have the things that they need and the opportunities that they need in order to succeed in life and be better people when they grow up. Because this is a time where they're old enough where they don't need their mother's nurturing spirit anymore. They need more of a structure and masculine energy. Because I believe that when a child hits a certain age, you're supposed to hand off the torch when it comes to who has the most prevalence in a child's life. Not saying that a woman should just completely bow out. I'm not saying that a man should completely bow out, but the percentages on what you should give to a child should change based on their maturity levels. So I've been doing just that. So those have been my priorities. Oh, and plus I'm going back to school to finish my my degree. So that's been a bit time consuming, but nonetheless, I'm here. Anyways, good to see you guys. Good to be back. I'll try to make my videos more regularly. I know I did a live one not too long ago. I'm probably going to start doing those once a week because I need to get my channel to grow. So don't forget to like, comment, and share. That's important because without you guys, I have no growth. But anyways, let's get on to the topic. So in the midst of me going through all these situations, I've dealt with women, of course, in these situations. My kid's mother, random help here and there, my submissive, things like that. And through this, there are different races and different backgrounds being played out here. My kid's mother, she is mixed. The woman that I was giving it, that was helping me out with my children, she was black. My submissive is Hispanic. So I'm dealing with multiracial women here, all at one time, mind you, and of course in different facets and different ways. But I started to realize something. I start to see how these things played out, because all these women have one thing in common, and that's their interaction with me. And of course that they're women. But the different, I'll put it this way. The different level of entitlements are very clear. They're very clear. And one would say, well, you should already know this because you're an old enough man and you should be able to see these things. But it's a bit different now because I have time to actually focus on more of what makes people tick, and more of what causes these outcomes of situations. And one of the correlations that I can make is the level of entitlement. I'm starting to believe that this is a core fundamental of a woman because each one of them have a level of entitlement, but it's different based on cultural upbringing. And it's shocking. I wouldn't say that it's shocking in the way that I never expected anything to be a certain way, but it's shocking to actually sit down and be able to mentally articulate this to myself, because back then, I was working, 14-hour days. I didn't have time to pay attention to this stuff, nor did I have the mental energy or faculties set aside, to deal with it or to soak any of this stuff in. I was more concerned about the outcome of things. I wasn't normally concerned about how things got to where they are. But now that I have time once again to pay attention to these things, it's very interesting to watch. So I was just having a conversation with a friend of mine, and she has been out in public with me a few times, and she's Hispanic, right? So, we were having a conversation about the looks that she would get when, we were out in public together. And she would say, these are things that I've been dealing with all my life, because she has an affinity for black men. And she said that the women, kind of snarled at her and, kind of gave her dirty looks. And we began to have a discussion about that. And I'm going to try to tie all this in. So the discussion, because she was confused by this. I mean, she said, I never really understood what was going on, but we were actually listening to one of BGS videos where he was talking about the entitlement. I guess I got the strag alarm now too, huh? Anyway, he was talking about the black women and how they are selling a bad product, pretty much. How they are selling a bad product compared to what the market is. And she was like, I never really, looked at it that way. And I was like, well, yeah, that's kind of how things are, because she's not black. Even though she's dealt with black men, she's never dealt with black women on an interpersonal level enough to understand that there is a level of entitlement there. Because Hispanic women don't operate like that. They don't operate necessarily off of a level of entitlement. If anything, out of Hispanic race, Hispanic men operate more so off of entitlement than the Hispanic women do, because they're taught to conform. They're taught to follow, and that's where it was. Once I understood that the Hispanic women are not taught to have a high level of entitlement, but rather the men are, what does that say about the black community when it comes to the level of entitlement that black men have versus black women? Black women have a whole lot higher entitlement level than black women do, than black men do. So that would put them in the masculine space, the level of entitlement. I'm probably going to make a different video about entitlements, but I just want to go through and explain the story and how I came to this idea that I'm conjuring. But anyways, so I began to explain to her what I understood, what I know to be facts. And that's that the women, the black women that we deal with on a regular basis as black men, they have a low bar of expectation of themselves. Whereas, Hispanic women, Asian women, damn near every other race of women, they have a higher expectation of themselves because it's culturally groomed into them to be that way. And that's the reason why you don't understand, as a Hispanic woman, as an Asian woman, as a white woman, why black women are behaving this way. There are black women within our ranks of black women who understand this, but these are women who don't have a high sense of entitlement. This is something that they just happen to get and that they were blessed with. It's not part of the culture. The women that come about who are black, who don't have a high level of entitlement, are not part of the program. They didn't take the fucking programming when it came to programming that level of entitlement. Socially, our culture as black people comes with the programming of programming women to have a high sense of entitlement. But anyways, so I began to explain to her that because here's the thing. So she was at my house, and the black chick comes in, right? And she's like having a conversation with her, and she's doing all these things that pretty much tried to amount to her trying to blacklist me to this woman when we don't even have that understanding. It just is what it is. We're not on that level when it comes to things. So she was just shooting in the dark, hoping that she can deter her. But then, my Hispanic friend told me, like, hey, she was, saying all this stuff, and I'm like, really? It wasn't a surprise to me. But that's where another portion of this entitlement dawned on me. Because the black women, they wanted to, well, the black chick, she wanted to basically blacklist me from another woman dealing with me. But I understand something different, is that women of different races do not speak the same language in regards to men. They don't understand why a woman behaves a certain way from another race when in regards to men. That goes back to what I was saying about how she didn't understand why these women snarled at her all the time, because they don't understand the subtle conversation that black women have in exchange when they talk to each other in regards to men. So let's put it in another scenario. Let's say both of these women were black, right? Let's say that the black chick comes in and she starts talking all her stuff, and she says, whatever she needs to say to try to blacklist me. She feels more confident in being able to have a conversation with this chick who's black, and her being able to understand what she's trying to say about me in regards to men, because they have the same programming. But I think a reason of contention that black women have with other races is because they can't go to these women and have that same conversation that they would with black women and it be understood. So that creates a natural competition, because they cannot go to a Asian chick and say, well, he did X, Y, and Z. The Asian chick might look at them differently because they have a different cultural upbringing of what they expect from a good man and a bad man. Whereas black chicks have a completely different upbringing when it comes to what a good man is and what a black man is. This is the cultural difference that separates them and creates the competition, because they don't speak the same language in regards to men. So when they end up having these conversations, they can't get it across that, oh, you probably shouldn't mess with him, because the other races don't understand that language. But anyways, so I then go on to explain to my friend, well, what ended up happening is that just because you don't understand this, I was like, if it had been another Hispanic chick who was trying to blacklist me from you dealing with me in any kind of way, she probably would have been able to get through to you better than she would have. So like I said, this creates a natural competition due to a behavioral isolation. That's all it is. It's behavioral isolation, because they don't speak the same language. So therefore, they're not going to have the same output when it comes to mating strategies. But anyways, so I then go on to explain to her that black women are selling a bad product. Far by and large, they're selling a bad product, and they can't talk other races of women into coming down to what their market value is. This is what's creating the problem of what we call colorism and all this stuff like this, because they are getting a different upbringing, a different programming of what acculturation is happening. So then we go on to talk about what was the next part of it. Then she started to say, oh, okay, I understand. She was like, well, yeah, you're correct. I see a lot of black chicks really trying really hard, but their product isn't that great, meaning their level of submission isn't that great, because I don't have any issues. I don't expect, to be honest with you, when I deal with another race, I don't have a problem with getting them to adhere. I don't have a problem with getting them to acquiesce to what my environment is. They they're okay with being led in my environment. Whereas if I've dealt with any black chicks that I've dealt with, they come into my environment and they're already critiquing what needs to be changed instead of sitting down, shutting up, and figuring out what they need to conform to. This is the difference, because I believe this comes from the entitlement, because black women feel entitled to black men. This is the fundamental that women have. They have a certain level of entitlement when it comes to certain aspects of life, but that's due to cultural grooming. And just so happens that the expectation or the entitlement that black women have is over the men. Other races don't have this. Why? Because they don't even speak the language of entitlement over their men. That's the reason why this natural competition is created, because they do not speak the same language in regards to that. But anyway, I don't want this video to be long. It's already at 16 minutes. So I'm going to cut it here. Maybe I'll do a part 2. Who knows? But anyway, like, comment, and share. I appreciate you guys showing up, coming back to the scene. But there'll be more videos to come, because I have plenty of more situations that I've been through with women to explain. Many stories, many fundamentals to go on this channel. But anyways, this has been the Wolf in Beta Clothes. May you have a good day, and peace be with you.